upstate New York right now. Reports of active gunfire where authorities may have escaped convict Richard Sweat cornered. This just a few hours after the second inmate, Richard Matt, was shot and killed. Steve tracking all the developments
in downtown Phoenix. Trisha.
Faye, here at Cityscape, people are already starting to show up with family members and friends.
Before Matt was caught, he apparently tried to carjack an RV. The driver there was able to speed off, and that leaves David Sweat, Matt's fellow escapee, at large. Right now, police warn
marriage.
What is the government going to do with all those millions of people that still believe that marriage is between a man and a woman? Are they going to force people of faith out of the marketplace or punish them if they don't agree with this decision? That's the big question on everyone's mind right now.
As you can see, people are already starting to show up. The celebration
border, and it's all
make sure the First Amendment is respected, protected, and maintained. Live in downtown Phoenix, Trisha Hendricks, 12 News.
Trisha, thanks. The celebration has also been taking over social media. The hashtag #LoveWins trending all day with people sharing images representing gay pride, also sharing pictures of couples who are finally able to have the same rights as others. We've seen monsoon activity in areas outside of the valley this week. Saw a little dust southeast of the valley. The White Mountains getting.
It's a debate that has divided our nation, but tonight the highest court in the country rules marriage is a right. The decision was
for more.
Hi, Faye. Yeah, lots of teasers this week with activity going on around us, just nothing actually happening right
tonight. Celebrations for some, disappointment.
As yesterday, with all of the activity in eastern Arizona sliding down into portions of southeast Arizona, some of these storms that are moving right now through Graham County towards the Tucson area could put out gusts in excess of 50 miles an hour and some brief heavy rainfall. But the weekend looks like it cranks up for us here in Phoenix. Tomorrow, it's mainly just about the possibility of dust and only a slight chance for a storm.
So this brings federal recognition to all
community for all of its support.
I would just this decision today is not the final decision.
A new phase.
If someone owns a business,
fundamental de la sociedad y la
por los derechos religiosos.
Something that conflicts with their convictions, we believe the Constitution supports their right to operate their business consistent with their faith and will defend their right to do so.
So now that same-sex marriage is legal, what do businesses need to know? Same-sex couples will now be eligible for benefits like health insurance through their spouses.
Simply got too hot for planes to take off, and then guess what? It was 120 or above for 2 days in a row. This is the only time that this was seen in weather history here in Phoenix, but we caught up earlier today with one woman that gave birth on this very
dreams. So tonight, they're really
on certain days, and most people will know exactly what they were doing on the day it was 122.
Leslie Kelly remembers exactly what she was doing on June 26, 1990.
And it was hot. It was horrible. There's nothing worse than being overdue, 9 months pregnant, and running errands, and it was, 120-degree weather.
Leslie gave birth 25 years ago today to her daughter Sadie. For her, having her birthday coincide with the hottest day in the valley goes hand in hand.
And do you like the heat?
I do, I really do. I don't think I realized the significance of it.
Today is just absolutely fantastic historical day for everybody ever since the 70s.
Having her birthday on the day the thermometer hit 122 is something Sadie is proud to associate with, but her heart goes to her mom.
I mean, if you're going to do anything on the hottest day ever, having a baby is not the funnest thing to do.
Certainly. Yes, Mike, thank you. You know, it's been a long and contentious battle. In fact, the first major victory for same-sex couples, that was back in 1993. Now, more than 2 decades later, we have this monumental victory. And while many are feeling the joy, some say that this is a historically tragic ruling by the Supreme Court. Aaron Baer with the Center for Arizona Policy says that his message is not about hate. Instead, he says the Supreme Court overstepped its bounds, and that's a disgrace to democracy.
Justices of the U.S. Supreme Court have no more insight into the meaning and purpose of marriage than all the voters do. And the voters have overwhelmingly said that
to their whereabouts. Nico Santos is live in Maricopa with the newest developments in the search. Nico.
Yeah, and all week long we've seen this tremendous outpour, and as the days go by, it's only becoming
That's the fight is not over. The fight for full equality begins today. Back to you.
And we'll be checking in with you throughout the newscast. Stephanie, as always, thank you. Now, keep in mind, before today's ruling, more than 2/3 of the states backed gay marriage already, either through their own laws, which those are the states in dark blue on this map, or because of a lower court decision. Those states, including Arizona, are shown in the lighter blue. Now, 13 states are impacted by today's Supreme Court decision. You see them right here in yellow.
We've been making a lot of calls on this today to dig into just what all of this means and
cover the same paths twice. Now the family's still at a loss tonight about what could have happened to
a Texas couple cashed in their savings account, quit their jobs, and took their wheelchair-bound sons on a tour of the country.
And they have just returned from their first leg from this trip of a lifetime, and Ken Malestina brings us their story.
Such great parents.
That's Hayden, Dakota, Christy, and John Gatika a month and a half ago as they embarked on a life-changing cross-country trip in an RV. After weeks on the road, they're back home for a quick pit stop before heading out again.
So you guys had never seen that before, huh?
No.
But not before sharing their experience with us.
We saw the Grand Canyon, we saw the ocean in Malibu. We got to stay on the coast right there.
And find them.
Live in Maricopa, where family and friends have just announced, Justin, some new efforts in their search.
Yeah, they've actually upped the reward money. We'll touch on that in just a second. But the Pinal County Sheriff's Office, they've been searching. So have a lot of volunteers. They've been going door to door in some cases. They've even been using ATVs like the one that you see behind me. And they are...
Manhunt escaped killer Richard Matt has been shot and killed. That's according to 2 senior New York State officials. Matt, along with David Sweat, who's still on the run, escaped from the Clinton Correctional Facility in upstate New York 3 weeks ago. According to authorities, Matt was shot about 40 miles from the prison. Authorities are now focusing their efforts on tracking down David Sweat. It's been an emotional day in Charleston, South Carolina, where thousands, including the President and First Lady, gathered to remember the 9 victims of the attack on the Emmanuel AME Church last week. President Obama delivered the eulogy at today's funeral for the Reverend and State Senator Clemente Pinckney. Jay Gray has been following this tragedy.
Information to the Sheriff's Office in the...
How he led an entire congregation in...
It has been, as you talk about.
Y
lo que pidemos nosotros
with any information.
Thanks so much, Justin. Meantime, we got some breaking traffic news. This is really going to affect you, especially if you're headed to the high country right now. And we're tracking it from the live desk. I want to show you, just pulled up the ADOT map.
All sorts of ways. But all I can tell you is extreme.
In a conservative movement in many ways. I mean, Andrew has written about this a lot, that, if you look at what gay people have fought for in America over the past decade, what have they fought for? The right to be in the army and the right to get married. Not exactly radical ideas. And I think that...
Telling us there's no estimate when all of this is going to reopen. We're told that backup already stretching at least 5 miles. So ADOT says delay the travel if you can, or as we mentioned, go through Payson or Prescott if you are headed that way. Katie?
Yeah, you don't want to be stuck in this heat out there either. Let's get to your most accurate forecast now. Live look at our blazing hot sunshine today. Valley highs topping out the triple digits, but Amber, my goodness, nothing compared to what we survived 25 years ago today.
I know. Can you believe it's been 25 years?
No.
It's incredible, right? 122 degrees, the hottest day on record. We have ABC 15 viewers sending in pictures of their Survivor t-shirts. This is Janine M., who survived the 122. I was right there with you, Janine, and so was Katie Rammel. Here's a look at temperatures right now. 107 degrees in Mesa, 108 in Goodyear, and 106 in Tempe and Glendale. So temperatures tonight, yes, they're going to be hot, but we are nowhere near where we were 25 years ago. By 9 o'clock tonight, we do expect to be down into the upper 90s. One thing we're watching, the potential.
The dignity and grace that serve
8 and 9 o'clock tonight as we watch some storms down to our southeast collapse and kick out some winds. But right now we're in the clear, and as we look live at ABC 15 Desert Doppler, the storms that we're watching are out to the east, stretching off into the White Mountains and down across southeast Arizona as well. But as we look at our valley threats for today and for tomorrow, this is really more so for tomorrow as that wind and dust threat goes up to the moderate range. But keep in mind that the hail and rain threats are still incredibly low for the valley. So coming up in your full forecast, we're going to talk about when we can actually get some rain. Will we be moist enough to see our first measurable monsoon rain here in the Phoenix Metro? Again, that's still ahead.
Warnings tonight after terror attacks in 3 different places all around the world. Plus, taking action after a Valley apartment complex tenant shows us some unlivable condition.
Head on 12 News at 5. Wildfire season is here, and one of the biggest concerns for forest officials is abandoned campfires. We're going to tell you what they're doing to minimize the threat. And the Arizona Coyotes show off their new jerseys at their draft party this evening. Fans also got a chance to cheer on the team's #1 pick. Coop has all the details coming up in sports.
Kia retailer for the Summers on Us sales event.
Is the new and improved Magic Mesh, the amazing screen curtain that opens hands-free and easy.
Members were gunned down at a historic African Methodist church in Charleston, South Carolina.
And when you're as helpful as Amica is, it doesn't go unnoticed. So call Amica today for auto, home, or life insurance and expect great service every time.